Disney Princesses is the multi-billion-dollar media franchise owned by Disney Incorporated. Created in the late 1990s with a lineup of just 6 princesses, the franchise has grown to now include 11 princesses altogether, and the company releases dolls, toys, home decor, apparel, and a video game of the franchise. But despite what would be assumed from the name, Disney Princess doesn't actually include all of the princesses, most notably the Atlantean warrior princess Kida from the 2001 Disney movie Atlantis: The Lost Empire. So what gives? Kida not only is a princess by blood and beautiful, she is also intelligent, strong-willed, and arguably one of the strongest female characters in the franchise. So why is Kida not considered a Disney princess? To explore this question, we look at the evolution of the Disney princess, some similarities between the 11 ladies, and how Kida stacks up to the lineup to try and give an answer for the case of Kida, Disney's forgotten princess. So the evolution of the Disney princess can be broken up into 3 generations. First generation, the demure damsel in distress. Spoiler, she's probably unconscious. The first generation of Disney princesses are made up of Snow White, Cinderella, and Aurora. These princesses can be summed up as your archetypal princesses. They are all demure, are known for their immense beauty, and finding themselves utterly helpless until saved by the efforts of their valiant Prince Charmings. Oh, and they all get to sing with birds and other animals while showcasing their domestic prowess.
I'm wishing for the one I love to find me today.
There isn't a lot more to say about the first generation, as they all tend to be fairly flat in their personalities. I mean, it can't be saying much if what you're most known for is lying unconscious. Second generation, the spunky sacrificial lamb.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Bonjour.
The second generation princess, Belle, Ariel, and Jasmine, are far spunkier than their predecessors. There is definitely a more defined sense of personality and attitude, and far more desire and curiosity for adventure, knowledge, and independence. Despite knowing nothing of the world outside of the ocean, Ariel chooses to step onto land all on her own. Belle is an intellectual who enjoys reading and learning rather than brawny muscles, and Jasmine, cooped up in the castle, strikes it out on her own, and in the process falls in love with a charismatic street rat rather than some rich prince. And who can forget this assertion?
How dare you, all of you, standing around deciding my future? I am not a prize to be won.
Oh dear.
However, they all end up at some point being submissified and sacrificing themselves for their love interest, and exhibiting behavior that is frankly sexist.
Realized how incredibly handsome you are.
Let's not forget Ariel, who sold her voice in order to physically impress a man she saw for just 3 minutes.
We haven't discussed the subject of payment. You can't get something for nothing, you know.
But I don't have
I'm not asking much. Just a token, really, a trifle. You'll never even miss it. What I want from you is your voice.
my voice.
You've got it, sweet cakes. No more talking, singing, zip.
But without my voice, how can I...
You'll have your looks, your pretty face. And don't underestimate the importance of body language.
Third generation, the warrior princess. The third generation of princess is definitely the most independent and deterministic group yet, comprising of Pocahontas, Mulan, Merida, and Tiana. It's hard not to feel empowered when surrounded by such fierce ladies that are going around saving the day. Though there is the awkward historical inaccuracy of the depiction of Pocahontas, she's still a warrior who ends up saving the man. Mulan cross-dresses and fights in a war amongst men, and ends up literally saving all of China.
I've heard a great deal about you, Fa Mulan. You stole your father's armor, ran away from home, impersonated a soldier, deceived your commanding officer, dishonored the Chinese army, destroyed my palace, and you have saved us all.
And of course there's Merida, who not only roughs it up like the boys, but is the first princess to not have a love interest or song. And though Tiana isn't exactly an arrow shooting heroine, her willingness to get her hands dirty in starting her own business is nothing to sneeze at. Of course there's also the case of Princess number 11, Rapunzel, which for the sake of time we'll just put her as Generation 2.5. As it can be seen, the Disney princess has evolved quite drastically over the past 50 years, evolving with societal views of women and making the first princesses seem a fairy tale world away from the most recent ones. However, there are some common themes that we can witness throughout. There's the disappearing mother, the animal sidekick, body proportions that are uniquely Disney and conveniently unattainable, an implied marriage at the end, singing, and of course, more singing. Well, as we said, this was going to be a look at Disney princesses, but also whether Kida qualifies for that role. Within the movie, we have Missing Mother, the princess,
Your heart has softened, Kida. 1,000 years ago, you would have slain them on sight.
1,000 years ago, the streets were lit, and our people did not have to scavenge for food at the edge of a crumbling city.
and there is a marriage implied at the end. And though Milo isn't exactly a hunking Eric or Prince Charming, he can be aligned with such male love interests as Aladdin. There's definitely no singing, glitter, or animal sidekick, and maybe that contributes to it. Kida's also almost 9,000 years old.
What are you telling me? Do you remember because you were there? No, that's impossible because, I mean, that would make you, 85, 88, 100 years old.
Yes.
And willing to stab someone in the face. Not exactly picturesque of a young, independent, but endearingly naive princess. Nonetheless, it's this fierce take-no-BS attitude Kida has that I argue makes her all the more worthy of being considered a princess. She isn't afraid to take what she wants. She's fearless and strong. And these are the traits of which cause her to be chosen by the Atlantean Crystal. Oh yeah, did we forget to mention that she is also the hero of the story, and is the reason Atlantis was able to survive having a volcano explode on top of it? Kida's bravery and heroism is right up there with recent princesses Mulan or Merida. Well, if it isn't about Kida's characteristics, then what might it be? Money? Well, despite the filmmaking profit, it is considered one of Disney's larger flops, only grossing $138 million. And if a movie isn't well previewed, how can you sell bed sheets with the characters' faces on it? Ultimately, I think it can be argued that Kida deserves to be a Disney princess if we're going off characteristics. But being a Disney princess isn't about principle, it's about money. And that's why Kida will possibly and probably always remain Disney's forgotten princess.